Hey, this tutorial will help you do a couple of things with Audacity and get started with the program, which is basically an equivalent to Audition or Pro Tools, but freeware. So the first thing you need to know is that you have to download Audacity. You can Google um, Audacity and then basically find the source. It's audacityteam.org, and then you can go to the download that you prefer. I do it for Mac, and Audacity will allow you to work for the most part with uncompressed formats. The issue is that we also need to be able to work with um, with compressed formats like M4As and MP3s. And for that, Audacity will require an extra plugin which you can download. I mean, whenever you're downloading your program, it will prompt you to do that too if you want. It's called FFmpeg Import Export Library, and you will find it clicking on that link, and then it will redirect you to the different types of um, uh, plugins that you may require. It's just one. Usually I download the FFmpeg 64-bit, which works fine for um, my configuration. You'll have a few options there, but for the most part, you'll find it's relatively simple to find. This is the URL if you want to take note. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Um, and I have already my my Audacity downloaded, right? So I will just show you how I will just launch it, um, and I'll show you what to do. So Audacity is here, is relatively simple, much less. Uh, it has much fewer options than Audition, but you have nonetheless some skill, some power to actually do audio edits here. So here you have your plays and stops and pauses buttons. Here you have your tools, and here you will have your timeline where most of your audio will land. So I'm going to import um, one bit of audio, um, one interview. Um, it's a long interview, so it's going to take a second to download. And I just want to trim it down to basically a couple minutes, right? So you see it's a stereo, so we have both channels. I'm going to be using mostly the trimming tool, so selection tool. So I'm going to um, select a bunch of it that I'm not going to use. I want to just delete it so that the file is a little bit more manageable. You can move it around with this time shift tool, so you can actually move it um, from here to there, etc., etc. And the selection tool will allow you to actually select parts, um, copy them, or um, Command X them, and Command V them. So select the parts that you're interested in and putting them aside, so you can later select here. I'm going to put them here. There's 2 bits too. So you can later integrate them into one file. So what I just did is select my different audio bits, and I'm going to delete this part. I'm going to move these three regions together. I'm going to leave a little bit of room here um, for my fade in. And now I have these three different audio regions integrated. I've been supposedly listening to them, so I know that they mesh together. I'm going to expand them a little bit. I'm going to use the zoom tool. So if I click on this, you will see that they expand, and you have the first gap between the regions here and the second one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this part with my selection tool, and in my effect drop down window I'm going to add a crossfade. So I'm going to crossfade the clips, and you will see as I do it, it immediately creates a crossfade that basically breaches the gap between these two audio regions. Now again, I'm supposedly listening to this as I'm doing it, and I'm expanding it a little bit more to make sure that I'm cross-dissolving them at a place where there's no audio or pretty much no audio. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Select this little patch, and with the effects, I'm going to crossfade these clips. Okay. If I want to zoom out, I'm going to select the zoom tool and clicking doing control click, I can basically zoom out. So now I have the audio that I want. I can create a fade in here. I can do it in two ways. I can actually apply this envelope tool right to that area. So um, I want to expand it a little bit so you can see a bit more what I'm doing. So with this envelope tool, just on this area in particular, I'm going to leave the volume as it was before. Now in this area, I'm just going to create a fade in, and at the end of my audio, I'm going to also create a fade out. Let's see. So I'm just selecting a couple points here and moving them so my audio fades out. Now that's one way to do it. I'm going to undo both envelopes and zoom out. So and now I'm going to do it in a different way. I'm going to just select this first chunk. I'm going to go to an effect, and I'm going to create an adjustable fade. It's a fade up. I'm going to do it at -8. So this is basically going to create a fade into my my track. So let's play it. Yeah. So I can do that, and I'm going to create a fade here. Effects, adjustable fade. It's going to be a fade down. Again. Could do and possibilities for inserts and fold outs, and then I have this idea of a box, and there's only one. Okay, and the fade, I'm fading both ends of my audio. So after this, I mean, again, as I mentioned before, you have to be listening to the audio. I'm going to move it a little bit to the top with my with my move tool. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring a different audio section to create my full um, um, audio interview with a music bed. So I'm going to go to import again, audio, and I'm bringing this song to a separate audio track, which is basically uh, underneath my audio, my other audio. I'm gonna trim it a little bit again, as I did before. So I want to take out this last bits um, because I don't need them. Maybe move it a little bit closer to the top, and then I'm gonna do a fade out here. Effect, fade. So just faded out my audio. And after I'm happy with the results, so I should listen to everything, make sure that everything is where I want it. I'll export this as an MP3. Usually you need to export as MP3 uh, because you want um, this audio to be useful when you're creating um, your slideshow, your sound slides. I'm gonna put it on my desktop. Let me see. I have my Audition Audacity test. So I wanna rename it interview. And I want to save it. The track will be mixed down. I export as one mono file, which is okay with me. I can add my name, the title, etc. if I want to, or I don't need to add anything. And this is going to export very quickly, and my audio is going to be here as my edited interview, 3.4 megabytes, which is not a small file, but you'll be able to work with it and add it to um, um, sound slides. Okay, I hope this was useful.